How do White Fries deal with this? We used to see, you know, Juggernaut against Spectre, but he's banned out.
Oh, there you go. Good question. Do you want more damage to deal with Death Prophet? Try Burster down and Spectres. There's some techie heroes.
No one really abuses the minus armor from ET or Slardar just yet, so you're looking for a real good hard hitter, but I'm just wondering if it's going to be a melee carry or a ranged one.
It could be a Slardar safe lane, but then you're just like, what's the offlane that's left? And there's not a whole lot. Morphling.
Okay. I mean, can right click, but also offers you that magic nuke damage against Death Prophet, especially pre-BKB onto her as well. The relocate, or really replicate even, gives you the global map presence.
It's a greedy pick. You go Invoker already. When we saw the Invoker earlier today, where it's like Invoker's a hero that doesn't leave lane, doesn't create space, unless it's Quas-Wex. But if you're going Exo Invoker with a Morphling, you're letting SignatureTrust take objectives, fight around the haunt, find kills, and really get a lot done. So I think, I don't know if Quas-Wex is necessarily better, but there's a lot of weaknesses in your draft with the Exo Invoker. It's just Quas-Wex is also kind of like a, does it really win you a game, or does it just give you giving you a stronger early mid game doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna win the game. If that Invoker doesn't scale, then because you've gone Quas-Wex.
10 seconds
remaining. You may need to go Quas-Wex this game, I feel.
Yeah, it does give you a nice time in lane against DP. The Ghost Walk to get away from the Earth Spirit rolling in as well.
Then you don't have the burst damage to kill off the Death Prophet later. So I mean, Quas-Wex has its problems, but I think I slightly favor SignatureTrust draft here.
Pelosin, smoke TP out. He was wondering where to place that observer, but he was like, right, well, guys, where do I go? Gets told by his team.
Yeah, I like this ward. It's a sneaky little one and unlikely to be dewarded. More often than not, you see the sentry like smack dab in the middle or on the north side of that river if there is going to be one. And Arbor, Iron Talon, already making his intentions clear. Screw the off lane, I'm jungling.
Jungle Axe, there we go. So with these lanes and how they pan out, you know, Jabs again, the weight of the world on his shoulders almost. They have to try and control things up. Both these teams friendly with each other. We already saw in the lobby, you know, KOXY and Lakel's having a bit of a chat, saying hello to each other, and the good old 555 plus plus plus.
KOXY good friends with and he's been playing against these guys for such a long time.
Well, like
so he's been good friends with the
years or something like that. Maybe even more back into Dota 1 days.
Oh yeah, like Dota 1 days, these guys were like top rivals, and like all the SEA players and the old school SEA players just all know each other really well. So it's good to see some good
friendly
friendship.
Rivalry.
Yeah, absolutely.
The battle
rune for rune, bounty, my pro. And your mid Death Prophet. Lakel's down the bottom with a Spectre. Bunch of tangos for her.
Oh, this is not a fun lane for Invoker though. Death Prophet's already annoying enough to lane against, but then there's an Earth Spirit.
And even an Axe. Like once Axe hits, I do wonder if he goes with Battle Hunger level 2 build. So if he comes into lane with Spirit Siphon plus Battle Hunger plus Earth Spirit roll, Invoker has no way of escaping. Even already, Jabs is rolling himself all the way across to the east. I'm not sure. I think he's trying to get a little bit faster towards HY Slardar down the bottom lane.
But yeah, the Iron Talon to me suggests Arbor's less likely to go Battle Hunger level 2 since you're pretty low HP and just looking to jungle farm. Yeah, it looks like Jabs just want to get bottom as early as possible. Whoa!
That was ambitious.
Zoning roll, don't worry.
I
was talking his Earth Spirit up during the draft, and now he's like off doing dubious things. But you got a Spectre, so I think securing your safe lane, giving the Death Prop the 1v1 is fine for SignatureTrust.
They try and turn it back onto HY, and there's the roll finally connecting. He's got the cross to turn it back onto Lakel's. The damage output looks good with the Thunder Strike as well. And Lakel's is actually going to get taken over here, and he dies to first blood.
With the creep support. The double range creeps, and I didn't get any Stout Shield procs on those range creeps as well. The Stout Shield was not friendly to him. That is
a sad start for the Spectre, indeed.
And SignatureTrust with the aggressors there. It's not like Wi-Fi's went on them. SignatureTrust took the fight into them, so big misplays coming in. Wi-Fi's will be happy about that stuff.
Mid lane, 290 doing pretty decently already. Denies out from my pro though, but even there between Invoker and the Death Prophet. But DP hits that level 3, so the Spirit Siphon's up to the 2 points. That's where things do become a little more difficult for the Invoker.
Yeah, but I think considering the first creep wave or two can be really rough against Death Prophet if if you get that bad block, and MyPro had the creep wave on his high ground, so often you can zone an Invoker at level 1. But now that he's got the Forge Spirit up and has some CS to his name, this matchup should at least be a kind of even one.
Olofsson's being chased though, in deep, and this hasted jabs Earth Spirit. I didn't see the courier, so he's
Bottom
not
move
going
up.
to snipe, and yeah, you're right, there's HY going on Boom Bell, and another cross comes through, the Sunstrike, damage output's good, but a block in there, Jabs gets his body on top of that, and blocks up HY, so there's no chase coming in from Slardar.
Almost got that kill. I don't know if Jabs' role made him tank the Sunstrike with the hero, but nice play nonetheless.
Nice little sidestep by HY, Jabs under the tower, there's no mana for a crush. Back up there, but where's that? Getting killed on Thunderstrike. Pelosin feels strong enough to turn and fight this with a Fairy Fire. He is, and Pelosin won't even get taken down by Lakel's on the flip side either. So White Fries, great start for them already on this off lane.
It's a very bloody bottom lane. A lot of fighting and aggression from both sides, and HY Slardar has been kind of the key factor in that. He's really pushed his hero to the limits as far as being in lane, contesting farm, drawing aggro on himself, and then turning it around, like really surviving on these kind of small amounts of HP, but he's played it very well.
Aber up at top. Waveform's already down 5 seconds until it's up again, but he is having to try and skirt himself around the stump, and he's accomplished that, but Waveform, no!
Wouldn't have been enough damage on its own, and the right clicks, you never know if a Stout Shield proc or two will happen. And he juked the stun, because I think if he lands that Spirit directly on top of the Axe with the stomp, the boots may not be enough to juke it, but Axe saw the Spirit coming, and then he already kind of juked the Spirit before it was even cast.
MyPro has his bottle up, and this mid lane it's completely even still, in fact. 290 is really doing an excellent job on his mid lane, dealing with the Death Prophet.
Yep. He's had to, I don't know if that's his first or second salve that he's using now, but I saw him ferry himself a salve very early on, so maybe he's partially doing it through buying extra regen. But yeah, he's pretty much only 100 net worth behind Death Prophet, so that's just like one salve usage.
Well, nice Earth Spirit Jabs. Orb of Venom, but no regen. 500 gold. Saved up for his brown boots, just waiting and biding his time for this roll in on somewhere. Could potentially kill the Invoker off. I mean, who's going to TP rotate in? You could look for the Disruptor to maybe try and give that one a go. He is holding onto a teleportation scroll. He's still sitting down on this bottom lane with HY, Boom Belt. The Vengeful Spirit, obviously a very squishy support hero, just trying to zone them out a little bit, but you can't go too far in. Lakel's doesn't offer you a massive amount of zoning capability or any real killing power here onto the Slardar with, Spectral Dagger doing a measly amount of damage.
Well, it's going to do even less because it'll do none against the raindrops.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So a really nice pickup to have this early on in the lane, because anytime they want to go on you, you're blocking a big chunk of damage. 100 damage from the dagger or 100 damage from the mid. Either one of these nukes is just being entirely negated.
Do nothing at all. Earth Spirit still waiting for that go again, but just look at the positioning here of 290. He's always kind of keeping this line where he's close enough to retreat back towards this tier 1, making sure the Death Prophet can't get up on top of this ramp, using his Force Spirit to just sort of harry him back a little bit more. Not sure they can dive in under the tower either. It's a very risky proposition for them, especially now that this Elder Titan's moved across. The Dire Observer Ward placed out. Radiant Observer Ward as well from Jabs. He cut himself through these trees, making himself a nice little nest in there, and they'll see the rotations come across. They know Pelosin as well as Chisbug are both around in that Sentry Ward. Unfortunately for them, that ward is very deep.
That's a nice Radiant Ward placement, getting it that deep. Jabs just lingering, waiting to see if anything comes towards his mid lane, knowing that he can't really get a kill even with the Death Prophet nearby.
But now they know that the supports have moved back up towards the top lane, and they know it's going to be a defense of this Invoker towards mid if they go for it. Axe has been allowed to farm a decent amount though. Tranquil Boots are ready. He's had that Iron Talon for quite some time, but Spirit's given up now, it looks like, on this mid lane. He's like, sod it, I'm going back down towards bottom lane. Bottom needs me a little bit more than you towards the mid.
Arba gonna get scouted out by the Disruptor coming in and the ward planted, but he's farming quite well. 34 CS and decent amount of net worth, kind of matched up by the Slardar at least of HY, who's not only farming well but has levels on his offlane. Both offlaners getting farm and levels. So a pretty even start as far as looking at like offlaners and mid, but it's the carries where there's a decent difference between the Morphling and Spectre's farm here early on.
Well, level 6 Slaughter with the amp damage. Jabs again with a nice little observer ward placed down. Let's see. There's Polosin Disruptor, move himself again, but Whitefriars have just done this really great job at controlling all these lanes up. They're giving free farm to the Morphling, they're giving Slaughter this great laning stage down towards bot, and Invoker's doing an amazing job towards mid. What's Trust's plan? Is it just going to be that that 4-man group up wants to have like a DP Veil and an Axe Blink?
Oh, they're going to start by looking for a kill down bottom potentially.
Try on to HY, with that roll in, the glimpse back will maybe save his life, but the stun comes across the two of them. The stick charges out from HY, and he's incredibly tanky while Lakel's, you're right.
The amp just with the disruptor right clicks was pretty like. I feel like the next move should be so good. Lakel's move should be telling. I think the better and easier kill is the Invoker. Send the Earth Spirit mid, Earth Spirit plus Venge, or even just one, like a Spirit Siphon with either a Venge stun or an Earth Spirit roll stun is enough to kill Invoker with a Spectre Haunt. And I think that's the hero that you go for because he's got no escape. Exort Invoker, one of his big weaknesses is that he is very prone to getting picked off, and Spectre one of the better heroes to do that with. So I think they're making a mistake trying to pressure this bottom lane against a very tanky Slaughter. The raindrops, Stout Shield, Tranquil Boots make this Slaughter a very hard kill to get.
And the 7+5 armor, they're all missed. The Haunt is there as well, and Lakel's goes into Polosin, but the Crush Charms are back, and the Sunstrike onto Jabs is going to land, and the damage output from HY is going to be enough. They turn it again onto Lakel's. Can they get a second one? Crush won't land with the speediness of Lakel's with the Phase Boots. Just enough to scrape away.
Yeah, HY's playing really sick Slaughter, and as well as credit to the Disruptor. Polosin has been the kind of the 1-2 punch that's joined up with HY, and he's been the one kind of turning around that game, while HY's been the one baiting them in. So these two have been very good, the Singaporean duo in the off lane. And that's been really SignatureTrust's undoing here in the early game.
How do you do anything against a 13 armor Slaughter at 9 minutes in?
Well, let's say, yeah, I got armor, you use magic damage, but that's where the raindrops count as you.
They've got limited magic damage as well. They don't have this kind of instant burst of anyone and lack of control, so they'll, you know, they've been listening to you gods. They're going to smoke up towards mid and look for this Invoker. I'm not sure if it's
no Haunt though. That's like
fast enough.
They still can kill him without Haunt because they've got both supports, but it's very difficult.
290, he's the aggressor in onto Micro. The Ice Wall is dropped, but he is very firing up, and not enough to heal himself through the damage, but the turnaround HY's come in to kill, and he's got one looking for two, but Abba will force them back away from the Vengeful Spirit, and in the meantime, it's like a kill on the Earth Spirit up towards top lane for the Morphling all on his own.
And even without that Earth Spirit kill, the 1-for-1 mid I think overall is fine for Whitefriars because they've got their Morphling free farming top. Spectre came off the lane and isn't really getting anywhere near as much farm as the Morphling, so they're creating a ton of space for Morphling while Spectre's getting some farm, but really would like to be getting involved in kills with the Horn. That's just not happening.
Well, nice attempt again. The Glimpse not going to catch the Axe, but you can see their intentions there, just wanting to keep tabs on him as Abba does get closer to that Blink Dagger. 900 gold away from it now. Oh, the Death Prophet moves up towards the top lane. Stamp of Wizardry is there, so it looks like it's going to be the Yule's Rush. Kind of a deviation away from what I'm used to seeing anyway, which is the kind of Treads Veil build we've come to know and love from the European scene. But I guess against amp damage, against these kind of displacement abilities and all these annoying spells from Whitefriars that are displacing you and holding you in place, Yule Step is kind of necessary to that.
Oh, the stun
swap. Still got the stuns.
Yeah. They need to just spam ganks on mid lane. Anytime you have Haunt, theoretically even without Haunt, they need to be going for these kills.
With all 5 heroes? Why not? Exorcism them out for the tower as well, secure this tier 1.
If you've got Exorcism, you do 5 heroes because you get towers to follow it up. But without Exorcism, maybe you just do 3 or 4. But with 5 heroes, you'd love to follow a gank like that up with a tier 1.
In the meantime, Morphling takes the tier 1 down at bottom, and it looks like Whitefriars are defending their tower at mid. HY glimpse, Static Storm, there's the Crush. The amp damage onto Micro will likely secure this kill unless the Ghost can return, but it's not fast enough. That stomp keeps Trust at bay. And the amp damage does start flowing out onto these heroes.
Very nice gank, and Morph is still just farming and even pressuring bottom tier 2 tower. So if you're seeing around this mid lane as SignatureTrust worried about like a potential fight happening, then you've also got to worry about Morph. Can't just let him continue to free farm and pressure your towers, but...
He's nearly level 11, you know, he's like 500 experience off it. This is...
And he's 5.9k, spec 3.5.
Scary territory.
Yeah, this is looking quite bad for SignatureTrust here.
And then you're looking at the Slardar that's close to his Blink Dagger, just needs, you know, another minute and a half, 2 minutes to finish that one up. And Pelosin, Arcane Boots. It's nice for your 5 roll and your 4 roll to be on par with each other in terms of net worth. They've got a good amount of gold between them. Is that Soul Ring done for the ET? It is indeed.
Axe's Blink will at least match up with the Slardars pretty nicely, so 1600 gold on Axe, and they need to start utilizing that as one of their major tools. But you look at SignatureTrust, they're very ulti dependent. They need to have Exorcism and Haunt up when they want to make those big plays, whereas Whitefriar's Lamp is much more ready to go whenever.
Yeah,
and they have like the damage to fight into a Death Prop. They're not scared of Exorcism if they have Slardar Blink Initiation, because they'll just burst down the Death Prophet using Sunstrike.
Yeah, one of the big reasons I kind of thought the Veil would come out is not just the synergy with the Spirit Siphon and the Crypt Swarm, but also the armor you get from the Helm against the Invoker, Forge Spirits, and that amp damage. This poor little Death Prophet will be in a world of hurt if she gets caught out by any of these guys, because you know, the low cooldown on Crush just allows Slardar to keep initiating over and over again onto multiple heroes, while the Blink on Axe, he often feels like more of a one and done kind of guy. You know, you jump in, you call, you get that one big initiation, and then you snowball the fight from there, while Slardar's more of an in and out guy.
Yeah, so...
Not the burger chain. Although it is very good. Had my first In-N-Out burger the other day.
Wow, okay. They live up to the expectations, the hype.
It was a good burger. It was all right.
It's less about like being an amazing burger that blows your mind away. It's more about the cost to quality ratio.
Yeah,
like
for
as
sure.
Far as cost to quality goes, In-N-Out is like probably #1.
Like they opened up a Five Guys in England a couple of years ago, and I went to that, and it was like £12 for the burger and fries. And it's like, I'm not flipping paying that for
it's good, but yeah, Five Guys is better quality than In-N-Out, but as far as cost goes, like
the Cajun fries at Five Guys were really good.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying, 12 quid for a burger and chips. That's just not, I'm going to McDonald's. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have a Big Mac if I want a burger. It's not happening. But no, I've tried a bunch of American food while I've been here, actually. This is my second time in the US. My first was like a TI5, and I didn't have any time to like check out anything really. And I was talking to Grace, and I was like, I've never had a Twinkie before. And she was like, you're not having a Twinkie, it's not allowed. And
did you get your Twinkie yet?
I got here, and the first thing she did was take me into the kitchen. And was like, right, don't tell anyone, but here's a Twinkie. Like, honestly, after like watching TV shows and movies where it's like the iconic, this is an American, brand and snack food, thinking, oh, it must be tasty, it must be really good.
That it just gets unhealthier from there. Wait till you're having like fried Snickers bars and things. And
I mean, that's a Scottish thing. That's like like an English thing.
Okay.
Deep fried Mars bars. That's something we invented.
Okay. Well, that's like a staple of Americans' food diets.
Oh, we apologise. We have increased your amount of diabetics, unfortunately.
Well,
but I don't know. Twinkies just didn't taste of anything. It's like,
I'm not a fan of Twinkies. A lot of the American sweets are kind of, I don't know.
It's just corn syrup in different forms, right?
It's all this artificial, like, it doesn't taste like chocolate here. Even doesn't taste like real chocolate, you know.
I don't know.
All right, mouse problems for HYHY.
Right?
Yeah, they don't do food very well. Not as bad as some. You live in Germany. I was about to say, speaking of not doing food well, German food.
Oh my god, German food is pretty trash as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in Southeast Asia for like 6-7 years. I miss the food there. That is like the biggest thing I miss, like nasi goreng and nasi lemak.
And it's just like the everyday, like day-to-day, like street food or even just like casual food.
Chicken
that's good.
satay.
Like you can get good food in LA. Like if you want to go in the city, go into like Chinatown or Koreatown or find something like the nice restaurants you can. But when you're like out in the suburbs, like the food nearby is just all like your crappy chain restaurants and fast food. And that's why I mean like American food's not good, even though you can find good food. But whereas Southeast Asia is just amazing. Man, let's relocate, Gareth. Let's have a new studio.
I might have to now we've bloody left the European Union, Once I'm done in Berlin, I can't go back home to England. Just become a roaming stone.
We'll find you a nice Malaysian girl and you can settle down there or something,
Go and settle down in Malaysia.
I'll ask Winter to introduce you to some.
Seems good. I'm a nice guy. My Malay has deteriorated severely over the past 4 years.
I see your Twitter. You know how to cook.
Yeah.
Look, he
my curry is like 10 out of 10. See, Knoxville, the stats guy, he's living with me. He moved to Berlin a couple of months ago, and he was like, you know, big upping himself, saying, "Yeah, I love spicy food. I'm going to cook you a cuck."
Okay. Well, you're into that kind of stuff.
I'm going to cook you a curry, not cook you a curry. Oh my goodness. He said, "I'm going to cook you a curry," and he's like, "This is going to be the spiciest thing you've ever had." And I was like, yeah, "Okay, bring it on." It was like a 4 out of 10. I cook him my curry. He's like,
yeah,
that's blown my freaking head off.
Okay.
Yeah. Slip of the tongue, gods. I didn't mean anything by it.
Sure, sure.
I'm not as bad as Toby.
You do it at home, we'll keep out of the cast.
Oh god.
Man, mouse problems in 2016. What is this?
I mean, this is like the first issue I think we've had, or at least I've had on stream for the
SCA Dota used to be notorious for pauses. I love watching and following SCA Dota, but online matches, I mean even LANs, there'd just be like some very long, painful pauses because of internet issues. And
I guess now a lot of teams have team houses, right? But back when they used to play from LAN cafes a lot, you know, one idiot knocks out the router or the power goes out in the net cafe, and it's just like, well.
And a lot of the like it used to be less so nowadays. It feels because they've got like they've set up their houses to avoid it, but like they would have like 3 different internet lines where if one's laggy, they'd swap to another, or if there's thunderstorms, like everyone would just be lagging because it's like, oh, there's thunderstorms, we're lagging. I'm like, what? Is that a thing?
That's how it works.
I don't lag when there's thunderstorms here in LA. Like, what's going on? But it seems for most of the teams are much more established and set up because it's like you could lose a TI opportunity because you're lagging. Like you got to avoid that shit.
I mean, that's why, you know, MVP Mongols they go to, you know, Malaysia and Singapore to actually boot camp and play from there, because you get down to the nitty gritty, and you don't want to be playing on 250 ping when you're playing for qualifiers for a multi-million-dollar tournament.
So Mongols in Singapore for this?
I'm not sure if they are here, but I know they have done in the past, and I kind of assume that they've done the same thing again. Yeah. But I've not checked or talked to them.
Okay. Looks like HO is ready. So
back into the game.
So recap, Whitefire is looking very good. The offlane Slaughter Disruptor duo getting, I think, like 5 kills or something together, maybe 4 in the lane, and since then HO has almost finished the Blink Dagger.
It's getting very close.
They can start taking some towers and objectives themselves. And they're looking at Exorcism on cooldown for 80 seconds. That's one less big threat to worry about. Same for Haunt. No Haunt, no Exorcism. Yeah. They're looking to punish that back.
A level 4 Earth Spirit, gods.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. He's now got level 5. He gets the tomb, but
nice.
Not quite.
So often we look at these 4-roll heroes actually. We'll wait for the Morphling come in from the side. Not sure if he got spotted. I think he did get spotted out there. The ping from Bubel. Yeah, Morphling's over there.
They're trying to hit the stomp from afar, and Slaughter HO is even sprinting in from the side, but slightly off the mark. But it does, again, secures them the tier 1 tower. You're looking at objectives being taken by Whitefries, and it's the cooldown dependency of the SIGNatureTrust draft, which is a bit of an issue for them.
Yeah. So often we look at these 4-roll heroes, you know, Bounty Hunter in the past, Ricky nowadays, Earth Spirit's also one that kind of goes into this, goes into the basket as well. They can do a lot during the laning stage, you know, they dominate lanes, they kind of win the first 10 minutes for you. But if things don't go well, there's a period of time now, there's a window where Jabs is kind of like, right, I've got to get to level 6, the tome obviously helps out, but there's going to be this period where he either has to be hyperactive and look for a pick-off to get himself over that hump, and get into the mid-game and give him that kind of momentum to push forward, or you go back and try and leech experience from jungling, and right now he's sitting behind my pro, kind of playing very passively, but you lose out on the aggressive aspect of this Earth Spirit, which is obviously one of his greatest strengths.
Yeah, they've really slowed it down, but next Haunt is up, Exorcism as well. SIGNatureTrust really need to just go as a 4-man unit. Push out this top wave and smoke. They may just smoke even without pushing. Okay, it looks like Death Prophet will farm 1 less wave, but they need to go and get stuff done. Blink on Axe, all ultis up, let's smoke, let's make a play, because if they're just sitting back, they're going to get outfarmed. Morphling is already outfarming them.
Oh yeah, pretty massively, honestly. HY is actually hidden this Blink Dagger. He kept it on the courier by the tier 1 down the bottom lane and buys a TP off to the side, so you know, it can be expected. Trust think, right, he has his Blink Dagger around now and can adapt and adjust accordingly, but if they smoke up like this, it will always be a surprise to you, and they're going to be smoking into a smoke of Trust as well.
They don't have Death Prophet.
Huge as HY into the Roche pit. He goes for the Blink call. Aber catching the 2 of them, and in comes the Earth with it down from the high ground. And Aber Sunstruck down, but living not even fast enough as the 2 drop from SignatureTrust and DP. Hot retreats on over the side. It's 3 downs. Lakelz had haunted herself into the mix of the battle, and this is going to be an easy Roshan for White Prize.
They make that play without Death Prophet and no T1 tower, so there's no towers nearby for Death Prophet to TP towards, so I think it's a big mistake from SignatureTrust to think they can get away with a 3-man smoke, because this is a stage of the game where you expect that smoke to come in. White Prize are going to play grouped up. Also, HYHY, the Blink Dagger, he wants to kind of go with his teammates and take a fight, so if you find like a 3v3 like that, it favors White Prize, even with the Spectre Haunt in, because they have the numbers and there's no Death Prophets to be scared of.
And even with the Slardar blinking past the enemies into the Roche pit and then having to walk back into the fight as well.
I mean, it was a good call and everything, but
yeah.
Elder Titan was there, had the stomp to prevent Axe getting a... If he gets that first Culling Blade off an Invoker, which he wasn't low enough to do, it could be like a maybe 50-50 fight, but that's like best case scenario. That's if everything goes right. There's no scenario where I see SignatureTrust winning that fight unless Death Prophet smokes with them.
So this Exorcism, level 11 is coming up soon for MyPro. They've really got to utilize these as often as they can to take objectives. Tier 1 mid, probably going to be the big port of call for them as the next one.
Yep.
Well, we did see the Lincolns picked up 16-minute Lincolns, Aquila treads for the Morphling, 8,000 net worth. It's a great little foot up for him.
Meanwhile, Lakelz has Aquila face boots and 600 gold.
Some money.
There, but
some money.
yeah, he's almost got
It's not a hedge fund, but
half of Morphling's overall net worth.
it's not great. It's like a little piggy bank. Really what you want to be doing. As HYHY wants to continue utilizing this Blink Dagger for himself. Smoked again with Pelosin. They've got the Static Storm Crush combination onto whichever target they want to go for, and honestly Morphling has been left bottom lane all on his lonesome with no one defending this tier 2. It's kind of obvious that Trust are preparing themselves for a tier 1 push up on top lane, which is all being pinged out here by the Dire Side, which is why Invoker is actually sitting behind in the trees.
Yeah, he can just keep using these Forward Spirit to defend if he wants to, although... And with an Aegis, they can't really commit to that kill, because it's not a kill for one thing, and then the TP's in will punish you, so... Very risky position for SignatureTrust to be in, where they see this hero defending the tier 1 tower they're going for, and they can't even initiate on it. Normally that lone defender gets punished. That's why you see most teams in that scenario, this hero would just TP out and ditch the tower, but...
Oh, Sunstrike in the cold snap, they got him! Really great play by 290. Abaklon back into his death as well, and even with the raindrops. White Prize, great reactions come in to defend the tier 1 after taking down the tier 2 at bottom lane.
So right now, they're actually playing scary good.
I mean, this is... I don't want to say perfection, but it's very close to.
Yeah. I mean, so much goes back to that bottom safe lane disaster for SignatureTrust, where they just played way too aggressive, even in a 3v2 lane, and losing that 3v2 is a big no-no. They just made the wrong calls. They really kind of pushed it when they shouldn't have, and Lakelz, yeah, Yasha, this is like a... I mean, the Manta against Slada is kind of nice later on, but you're giving up your Radiance Dream for now.
I mean, Manta style's good on Lakelz, but when you're being carried out by HYHY over on the Slada, blink in 2 seconds time, and with the glimpse, a bit further back, nice little jump by Lakelz, completely outplaying it again. Haunts across to another illusion. Outplays HYHY and Pelosin, who really had his number in that one.
It's like an outplay, but guess what? It's like it saves your life, but it doesn't progress you. Yeah,
it's a wasted haunt. You're not getting anything out of it. Try the Sunstrike back onto the Axe, but this Aegis will 290 to pop himself back into another living. He doesn't. Ooh, there we go. The final hit comes out, but an Earth Splitter with a Static Storm. MyPro used into the air, and Slada finishes off one. And this Death Prophet, not long for this world, and Axe has to blink away. This is a devastating state of affairs for SignatureTrust as they are being marauded by White Prize. One after another, the chasing power is continual. And this Dire Side, honestly, 2 to 14 currently, 19 minutes in, 11,500 net worth on your Morphling. They're pushing high ground gods, and I do not see a way for Trust to stop this.
Oh, this is brutal. And you've got a Spectre who's not in fighting shape. You've got Exorcism, but the Death Prophet's too squishy to fight. One Blink Crush just instantly melt. The Elder Titan making everyone squishier as well, so a tier 3 tower, they don't really care about taking racks now. Like Morphling's just sitting on his Lincoln's Yasha, normally this is a hero that takes another item or two to really come online, but
he's level 14.
This is brutal.
He's got over that level 11
lead.
hump, and he's doing incredibly well, while a Hand of Midas for Chizbugs picks up.
He
sells it.
changed his mind.
Okay.
I like I guess if we want to go for like a fight now item, maybe a Lads or something, but...
Oh, the full mech.
Yeah.
Fair enough, dude. Okay.
That's the team. His team's probably like, nah, we can win the game now, rather than...
And a Glimmer Cape on Disruptor. All of these items that just enable them to, again, outmaneuver and outplay the SignatureTrust lineup as they 5-man up towards the top tier 1, and it's something that they really have to try and do is, you know, gain and garner some kind of advantage on the map to get these tier 1s. It's just... You know, it's gold in the pocket for your supports at the lowest level of this, but it's also just trying to open the map up so you have at least one extra bit of area to farm. Like Spectre can maybe, you know, farm an extra large camp, an extra medium camp. Just little things like that mean so much for Trust at this period of time.
And I really like the Yule's pickup in Invoker. It's kind of like that pub flashy item, but this is one of those games where heroes like Spectre are very vulnerable to this. And having that kill threat by yourself is going to go a long way as far as stopping SignatureTrust from trying to catch up by just farming the map on the kills.
2 lanes being pushed in though by White Fries, bot and mid, and it's only the one up at top where Trust are trying to continue this, but Lakels is all alone here, doesn't have the safety net of the heroes behind him. Full control of the Radiant jungle for White Fries.
Yeah, he's...
And probably next Roshan. Did you go for the full Manta? He's picked up Ultimate Orb, right?
I think you need to. If you try, the Radiance will come super late, and even when you hit that Radiance, Yasha Radiance, like you're squishy then. You still have maybe 1200 HP at that point, if you get a few more levels and get some stats, but this Manta will just give him that little bit of extra survivability. Like a Yasha Radiant Spectre will just get solo killed by an Invoker. So this is a bit more of a secure way to play this game, but say secure, you're playing from a huge deficit. 20k gold lead at 21 minutes in, roughly. When
your Death Prophet's the one buying smokes, you know things are going poorly, honestly. Ogre Club is picked up, trying to get to that BKB now. Not really the normal item progression that you need, but this is an adaptation Micro has realized he needs to make just to keep himself alive in these fights. Now, Trust, they finally get outside of their base and place some wards down, but they're spotted every step of the way by the mid lane ward and this jungle ward here from the Dire side. They know exactly where Trust are. Every single hero. They've watched them go to the jungle. They're watching them come out of the jungle now.
Well, with that in mind, I'm not sure.
I don't know if Jabs is here though. I'm actually pinging onto that Invoker. I don't know if he's pinging saying that's not the real one, but it's kind of interesting actually that the Morphling replicate you see the orbs, but Invoker illusions you don't.
I don't know what's up with that.
Valve, please.
I don't know. The whole point of Dota, Dota's never had anything consistent.
Everything's an exception to a rule.
Yes, there's exceptions to all kinds of things, and unique cases are plenty.
Do we have any big meaningful items coming out from the Radiant side? I mean, we talked about the Manta, we've seen the Blink on the Axe, but really the 2 supports on the Radiant not really got too much to their name, while Morphling is now making his way very quickly towards the E-Blade, and we see there that Slaughter has a BKB fully completed.
Yeah, I think it's more about the items coming for White Fries, which is going to be the Ag Scepter on Invoker, the next Aegis, the Morphling Ethereal Blade, which is... I thought he was going to go for this second just because the pick-off, the burst is good against Death Prophet, but it's more about the insta pick-off turning into a 5v4 is what gives you the opportunity to push high ground. Like when you're ahead, an item like Ethereal Blade is even better. It's an item you don't really want. You don't want a shotgun Morphling playing from behind, but if you're playing from ahead, having a punish where you can just get kill after kill on underfarmed squishy supports or even squishy Death Prophets. I mean, Axe isn't that tanky when you look at like his itemization. Morphling can really just shine, so...
The Radiant Courier was heading towards the secret shop, and it had Axe's broadsword on it. And that was his blade mail completed, but I'm struggling to figure out who was sending it there. Maybe it was Earth Spirit trying to... I don't know.
Energy booster?
He's got his Panker boots. He's not going to go for Arcanes, but regardless, White Fries removed the blade mail and a massive amount of damage output that Trust could potentially have turned back into their faces with that one, and it's a big old loss there for Trust as Abba scouted out by these illusions, but he'll continue taking the ancient stacks while Roshan's respawned, of course, and this is something that White Fries can quite easily just take control of mid and bot again, keep pushing these lanes out with Morphling Illusions making a nice little trip up towards the tier 3 bottom lane, and Boombell has to address this and deal with it. will go into the Roche pit, and Trust don't feel safe at all. Moving themselves across the map to there, they're just going to try and keep farming through.
And really, they shouldn't feel safe anywhere. So much kill potential out of a Yule's Exod Invoker. The catch from Disruptor, Slaughter, yeah, it's just getting uglier and uglier.
20k net worth lead, 25 minutes in. No, it's not the 1k per minute, but it's
close.
It's pretty devastating, honestly. But Trust, this is not the way they wanted to go through. Especially so close to the end of this group stage. Only a couple of games remaining for both of these teams, but Whitefire is really a statement of intent here as they want to progress themselves further through and get that placement finished, get to the playoffs and get themselves potentially the direct invite or that wildcard spot.
Yeah, Whitefire's
slow and steady.
Yeah, they're not going to take too many big risks here. I think they can probably feel that this game is going at a good pace for them. They've got the decent duration on the Aegis. Wait for the Ethereal Blade, wait for the pickoffs to come your way, and recognize that Lakel's going for this Manta style isn't going to become a huge nuisance with a Radiance. He's not going to farm as fast, and that's the thing. Like, you get this item, it helps you fight, it makes you a little bit scarier now, but it doesn't increase your farming rate by having a Radiance, for example. So
okay,
Lakel's is not going to become a super late game issue, but with the Ethereal Blade, Aegis, Morphling, you find a pickoff, you break rags.
I mean, this Morphling is honestly absolutely monstrous.
He's more than a problem now.
He is the problem. The Alpha, the Omega. He is the creator and destroyer of worlds here against SignatureTrust. I don't know what they can do to handle this. Vengeful Spirits by tier 4 is like, nah guys, I'm not going anywhere near that. He's going to insta-kill me with the E-Blade. And, oh, Glyph is popped, Racks are dead. And Execution comes out with a blink call back on the Chizbug. They've got some damage down, but the E-Blade is there. And the stun not going to connect to anyone. The Stag Storm out. H-Boy stands his ground, and Lakel's the Spectre does no damage. With my pro gone, there's no ghosts. And SignatureTrust are just dragged back into oblivion by the Disruptor. One by one they fall, and Whitefire, I think, might have finally ended this game, and in fact they have. GG is called, and that has to be one of the most lopsided stomps I've seen in a long time.
Great showing from Whitefire. Solid draft. The Morphling pick I was a little worried about with the Invoker, but when you win the lanes as hard as they did, Morphling had a free farm safe lane, Axe was just straight up jungling, which is kind of like okay, because you want to just give your Axe the jungle, then focus on one of the other two lanes, but by having disrupted bottom, Whitefire managed to win that lane. Earth Spirit committed to bottom lane as well because he wanted to try and save the lane, which he couldn't do, and losing bottom lane when you tri-lane it, and then the mid lane being an even farm trade for the Invoker was a huge win for Whitefire.
Invoker was the only hero to die there for Whitefire because he got ganked a couple of times. Everyone else has 0 deaths, but that's it for us for now. But we will continue with Southeast Asian coverage coming up in a couple of minutes. Myself, Gareth, and Gods, thanks for watching. We'll be back. I'll be back on the panel in a couple of hours, I think, checking out what's going on over there. But see you guys in a little bit.